What's good, everybody? It's your boy 𝐑𝐨𝐴 from NBA 2K Film Room, and we are back with another build video. Shout out to NBA 2K for allowing us to go to Community Day to be able to get this footage. So this is going to be another power forward, similar to one of your more comp power forwards, truly a back end. And I'll kind of break this down for you all. Starting with power forward position, we're going to go height 6'7", we're going to go weight 250 pounds, and wingspan, we're going to go 7'1". Starting it off with close shot, we're going to go with the 70. This is going to give us bronze float game. We could be able to move this up to a 72 or 73 for a paint prodigy, and that's if you really want. It just means we'll have to sacrifice in some other areas, which I'm not completely comfortable with doing right now, and you'll kind of see why. Moving on, we'll go to drive and layup. Drive and layup, as you can see, 53. We're focusing on defense. This build is primarily defensive focused, but that's really the biggest thing, is just we want to be able to go sacrifice here to be able to get elsewhere. Up next, drive and dunk. Drive and dunk, we're going to go with the 62. We'd rather not get the driving dunk because of what we have coming next. So of course we'll get bronze aerial wizard. We won't get posterizer, which we would need a 73 for at least. So if you want to be able to sacrifice, you're more than welcome. But I prefer the 72 standing dunk, which will give us rise up. So especially when you're, think about it this way, right? When you're cutting from the basket, well, cutting from the corner to the basket, a lot of times that pass hits you and it's not in that driving, that driving dunk range anymore. It's going to be more so close to the paint, that paint area. So it's actually going to trigger a rise up animation and not a driving dunk animation. So don't get me wrong, you'll still be able to get driving dunk animations, you'll still be able to equip, you'll still be able to drive and dunk. We just won't have posterizer, so we won't be able to have contact when those driving dunks are. However, with rise up, we're going to be able to posterize them in the standing area, which is a lot better for us as a power forward. So something to definitely think about. For post control, we're gonna go with the 51. Up next, we're gonna go mid-range 71. The 71 kind of complements the 81 3 ball. Of course, it's that threshold. It's a 10-point threshold. You can't go any further apart. It has to stay within those 10 points, so it'll constantly shift. So since we want the 81 3 ball, we're gonna have to go with the 71 midi. And it's just what it is. Maybe we can drop this down to 80. It's really your call. Honestly, the more I think about it, maybe an 80 might be more beneficial because we don't need the 81, but sometimes the 81 might give you a few more jump shot bases that we might not normally have access to. We don't completely know. It's just something to do, but also sometimes you want that extra point, right? So that 81 3 ball as well as the 71 midi gives us bronze deadeye, silver set shot, bronze 50 shooter, which I think those are like big badges, right? Like we talk about these 3 badges. We're still going to be able to fade from the corner, so we'll be able to create. We're still going to be able to shoot pockets, especially with catch and shoot, with no dip, etc., things like that. And I'm sure even with rhythm shooting, it's going to be even more impactful. But now you can still be able to shoot in the corner, and you have silver set shot, so you can be able to shoot more consistently, which I think is a great option. If you want, you can be able to max +1 or max +2 these as you like them. It's really your call. Again, it's your build. This is a template. We're just here to be able to give you, more options and more ideas. We're going to go low on free throw. We're going to cheat it. I'm just going to be real. We're going to go low on free throw. We want to be able to focus on everything else. And I think it's very important that we have the attributes to be able to go in those other directions. For pass accuracy, we are going to go 78. So 78 is tough. I would prefer to have this a little bit higher. Truthfully, if we want, we could probably knock this down to 76, so we could still be able to have, our break starter on silver. We're still getting our versatile visionary on silver. We're still getting our dimer on silver. We're covering all the bases when it comes to that. I do like the 78 because, of course, I'd want to be able to get a little bit higher, but there's really no point, right? Like, we can just go with the 76. It's that simple. We go with the 76, we can be able to use the pass act in other areas, which could be more beneficial to us, potentially with perimeter. Like, I think that perimeter might be very important this year if we can be able to get a little bit higher. So it's definitely something to think about. So for ball handle, we went 66. 66 will give us enough to be able to at least get strong handle, at least on the bronze. We don't want to be able to dribble that much, but it gives us a few animations that we can have access to. If you want to check them out, you can check them out in the description below. We have the animation glossary as well as all of the animations and badge requirements you can be able to check out there. Up next, we have speed with ball 56. we're not going to get lightning launch. It's tough. We'd have to go up at least, up to a 68, and that's a lot. Maybe when we start like knocking out some of the stuff, we can give it a little bit more, but it is what it is. We're power forward out the corner. We're not really like needing lightning launch to be able to catch people off the dribble. So it's cool if we miss it, right? Interior defense. This is where it starts. We're going to go with 74. 74 interior defense gives a silver off-ball pass, bronze paint patroller, and bronze post lockdown. So these are quality. The fact that we have paint patroller just allows us to be able to max +1 or max +2. I think that having paint patroller is huge when it comes to playing the back end, playing more of the interior, playing that anchor position. It just allows you to be able to wall up those bigger centers and be able to get those stops on cutters, drives to the basket, anything like that. It just makes you more of a viable option, just a viable defender overall. I mean, you could always go down a little bit lower if you want to be able to like min-max the threshold to a 70, but I like 74. Perimeter defense, this is the one that we kind of talk about, and this is the one I might want to move up. You see, I moved it up to 76 here. I would want to be able to keep moving this up a little bit further. So there's ways that we could be able to knock that down. So we talked about like, shifting things around and potentially bringing that over to interior defense, or shifting that over to bring it to perimeter. So if we go down to 70 in interior, part of the reason why we can't go super low with interior defense is because it's tied to defensive rebound. So like if you start moving one, it's gonna start pulling across from the other, and it makes it a lot harder to be able to get these things. But if we could, I think we bring up perimeter a good amount. I think at least silver challenger is good. Having any sort of on-ball menace, depending on if you're switching in guard ball, it really depends on the type of position that you're playing, how you're playing it. If you're playing this with threes, yeah, you might have to guard ball, so you probably want a little bit more perimeter. If you're playing this fives, you're probably not gonna have to guard ball a lot, but you still wanna have that option, and you still wanna be able to jump to be able to get contest. And sometimes 76 isn't going to be enough, but we're trying to figure out the contest system. We're trying to do all of that for right now. And this is still a build that, while it's more comp based, it's more fives based, we still want people to be able to have fun with it and not feel like they're just completely stuck in that role and they're just stuck in the corner. So that's why we're able to sprinkle in a little bit more standing, sprinkle in more of the midi, three ball, ball handle, like all that kind of stuff, because we want to be able to do more. I forgot to mention that pass act with 76, that break starter, we're not going to be able to throw breaks OD. We'll be able to get them. It's probably more so you're going to have to reset it to your guard. So just make sure your guard knows whoever it is, they're coming back to you, so they can be able to pretty much be that cutoff man before you guys really attack on the break. So that, I think that's very key to remember and, kind of talk about right now. But yeah, besides that, we get silver movable enforcer, silver off-ball pest, bronze on-ball menace, bronze quick dodger, which are solid quality things to have. You see I'm switching it to 7, boosted perimeter up to 79, which we kind of talked about. Maybe we keep doing it, potentially max +1 it, use cap breakers to be able to boost that up. That'll get us to an 84, which isn't bad at all. That will actually get us to close to gold and movable, especially if we're able to use that cap breaker on strength as well. And there are a lot of cap breakers in this game apparently, so we want to definitely be able to do something like that. It's just something to think about, and we could be able to use our max +1, max +2s to be able to boost these up. This is where it gets fun. Like I said before, 97 steal, our specialization is going to be defense. We're going to put the +2 on steal. So this way, not only do we have a 99 legend glove, we have a 99 legend interceptor, and I think that's quality. The way the lanes are in this game, and a lot of people having lower pass act, and the fact that we have a long wingspan, it's going to give a lot of opportunities for us to be able to play a lot of lanes, bait, get back, do whatever we need, and just really be an impact at that back end position. The back end is really supposed to be like almost like that free safety type of position where you're kind of covering everybody, helping, doing whatever, but also being able to sit back and be able to take the steal up, out the air if they try you, right? So like we want to make sure we have that, and this should be really good. I know some people would maybe bring this down. They'd go maybe 95, 96, but you give it more of the Hall of Fame stuff, and they'll kind of bump it up with max +1s, max +2s, or cap breakers to that point. That's an option too. For now, this is our first build, so we want to be able to at least specialize in one thing, have something, because Who knows, right? Some people might be using this build all year long. Some people might want to, like, you know, use this just in the beginning to be able to grind, get what you need to do, and then move on to another one. So that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, all right, this is a build that it's going to start us off well, but as we get more cap breakers, as we get other things, it's going to allow us to be able to shift how we want to do it and how we go about this stuff. For block, we went 74, which will allow us to be able to get that paint patroller on bronze. I think block at 74 is quality. It's solid. It would be great if we can get it on an 84, but that's a lot. So unfortunately, there's not really much we can do in that situation. We kind of spoke here, and this is something I didn't really talk about, right? You see how I'm like moving it down, like interior defense from the 74 to the 70. This is where it's tough. Do we want the post lockdown or not? Personally, I like the post lockdown, but if you want to save it and go somewhere else, you can go with the 70, that's fine. But if you're getting cooked by post scorers, for rebounding, we went 75 for O board, 92 for D board. What this is going to do, it gives us the opportunity to be able to go to 94 with defensive rebound, which is going to get us to that Hall of Fame box out beast. And so then from there, we're pretty much max +1 box out beast to legend, and then we're going to max +2 rebound chaser to legend itself as well. So now we have a 94 defensive rebound build, which is great. 75 O board, yeah, we wish we had more, but being a power forward, most of the time we're going to be boxing out the center. We're going to be ensuring that they're not getting that second chance point. So, you know, it's good to have the defensive rebound. And oftentimes the defensive rebound's a lot cheaper. Again, we'll kind of go through and figure it all out as we go. But defensive rebound this year is kind of, like we said, tethered through a bunch of different things. So it's going to make it a little bit harder. So for speed, we wound up going 81. If we could get to that 85 realm, like I think that an 85 speed is pretty solid for a back end. But I felt like we were moving so far when I played it. So I think 81 for now, and then we can use a couple cap breakers if we want to be able to boost that up. I think we'll be in a good spot. 80 for agility. Laterally, I was playing on the 80, and I felt like I was moving pretty well. And it really just depends on how you really work it, right? Like, you know, your triggers, making sure you're not over-reliant on one trigger over the other, making sure you're not over-reliant on both triggers, being able to tap it, just move with your left stick and recognize where the ball is while just recentering yourself to make sure you're facing the ball. If you put yourselves into a zone setting, not a zone defense, a zone setting, or even if you're like threes or you're just playing with arrows, it keeps adjusting yourself to the ball. So whatever you need, it just allows for that flexibility. 84 strength, we kind of talked about that too. This, of course, 84 gives us silver brick wall, silver movable enforcer, on top of helps with the strong handles. Personally, I want to go with the higher immovable. So the goal really would be is to, if we can get to 85 strength and we can find a way to be able to get our perimeter up to that 84 area, I think that would be good, because not only will we be able to get more, we probably get like more of a perimeter defense, like better challenger, stuff like that. We're also going to be able to get immovable enforcer on gold, which is going to help, especially when it comes to those rim running guards, because we know it's going to happen. Some of these 99 drive dunk guards, 5-out guards, whatever it is, just anybody trying to just bully you in the paint. It's good to be able to have that, as well as that post lockdown, so you can really be able to command your defense and command the paint and not allow for anything crazy. Another reason we probably want to go 84 is because it's going to give us a few additional takeover abilities. One being my favorite that we'll kind of mention a little bit later. And vertical, 76. 76, we want to probably use cap breaker here because we're one off of gold pogo stick. And that matters, especially when you're trying to get a contest and then be able to jump back up to be able to get a board. It stuff matters, so really like having that pogo and just that 77 if you can get it. Of course, we talked about high flying, we talked about that. And then this is the issues of what we were talking about and why we would want the 85, right? This being a power forward build and we're doing a lot of everything, we specialize in nothing. So we're not getting a lot of takeovers. I don't think we actually get one takeover. What that means is that most likely we'll have to rely on a custom takeover for this one, or we have to go through and move our offensive rebound up to 80. What we'd really like to do is be able to maybe take our defensive rebound or something else down a little bit more to that 90 range. It's gonna suck because it's gonna hurt us in a little ways, In turn, we're able to get our offensive rebound up to an 80. We're probably able to get our strength to an 85. If not, we use cap breakers, which allow us to at least get board beast, which I think is a great takeover to have, especially for a power forward. So of course you see that we get a +5 to our offensive and defensive rebound, and then we get a +5 to our standing dunk. So we're looking at a 77 standing dunk. We're looking at what, 97 D board. Well, actually, in that situation, it'll be, we're looking at a 95 D board, and then 85 offensive rebound, which is pretty solid. But the main thing is just being able to secure those box outs even better due to that crasher ability. So it's something to look at, it's something to play with. And if you want to go with it the regular way, you understand that, all right, I'm not getting a takeover originally. I'm going to have to grind a general takeover or something like that until I'm able to get a custom specialized takeover. So it's going to take a little bit of time. If you do that correctly, follow everything we say here, you get 𝐅𝐨𝐥𝐿, Paul Millsap, and Bam Adebayo, a two-way stretch 4 cleaner. So honestly, it's a pretty solid build. We have Hoff Glove, Hoff Interceptor that we're going to be able to boost up to Legend. We have Rebound Chaser that we're able to boost up to Hall of Fame, if not Legend. You see the top attributes: A+ steal, A defensive rebound, B strength. The strengths, it says, reads misses, gets defensive boards, stretches the floor effectively, effortlessly outruns other bigs, opportunistic ball thief. So those are great qualities to have for power forward. Really, my worry is effortlessly outruns other bigs when we need to probably be able to keep up with a few more guards, hedging, things like that. So it kind of says we might want to go back and fix this speed, but the jury's out. We'll see. It's more of an AK build, that kind of thing, having a little bit more of a flexibility on the offensive end. And then weaknesses: not a vertical playmaker and no presence in the low post, which makes sense. We're not really jumping up to dunk, and we're not really looking to go back to the basket with this build. We have our role. We want to be able to shoot from the corner, fade, be able to do all that kind of stuff. We're not really looking to post up. We're not really looking to dunk like crazy, especially on driving dunks. So there you have it. Let us know what you think of this build in the comments. And of course, like we said, we have the attribute glossary. We have all of the attribute requirements and the badge requirements, as well as the takeover abilities listed below in the description. Also, if you need help with anything, feel free to reach out. We do have the link to our Discord in the thing below, as well as if you're looking for a playbook for you and your team, 3v3, 5v5, we have our starter playbook that you can be able to download for free. All you have to do is join our email list. So we have a lot of great things coming for you in the future with 2KFR. But if you want to see more content like this, click the link on the screen here.